It only took 6 months, but I finally got my entire collection moved over to my new place. So I thought it was about time to give an update video on my man cave slash home theater 2.0. So if you want to check out the progress, stick around. Here is the progress so far. Let me give you guys just kind of a 360 view of the room, which is approximately 60 foot by 20 foot. And then there's a side room that jets out that's about 14 by 12. I also apologize, the lighting on this video is gonna be a little harsh. Painted the walls kind of a light black until I get the lighting I want in here. It was super dark, so I put in those very bright garage lights. And you may ask, well, where is the home theater at? And I currently do not have my house for sale yet. I'm still working on that. And my current home theater may be part of the sale. So I ended up, that's gonna be a future project down here, probably starting later this year. But yeah, let's just kind of dive into what I did here. So I did decide, now ultimately, this is where the home theater seats are gonna be. This is where there's gonna be some huge drop down screens for a projector setup. But I decided on this wall, this would be my Terminator wall. And that this wall would end up being my Alien Predator wall. And you can see on the Terminator wall, this is the one that's about complete. I do want to get a life-size endoskeleton sometime, but other than that, I pretty much got all the pieces that I wanted to get. So this is the excellent Queen Studios T8 under Arnold that they came out with. I guess it started shipping like 6 months ago or so. Very cool piece. I've got a video on that if you guys want to check it out. And then basically, I'm not, keep the video shorter, I'm not gonna go into all this, but here's some various other Terminator pieces that I have. And as you can see, I also have a ton of props from the Terminator movies. So yeah, the famous gun that you saw on T1. And that's based off the trucker bust at the end of T1, the puppet that they used. And those couple are one of Queen Studios' first licensed piece. They're also excellent pieces. And yeah, poor Lewis, the security guard, who got it from the T1000. I did end up putting air purifiers. Got 3 large ones down here to kind of keep the dust under helm. Of course, there's the Jungle Predator from Predator 1. Wolf Predator's mask, and then the Predator City Hunter from Predator 2. And then I try to kind of theme it. This is all stuff that you saw in Predator 2. Again, you'll see as a theme, I'm a big fan of replica props. If you guys aren't familiar with replica prop forums, got a lot of stuff from that over the years, and then some from licensed pieces that have that come out. I've got another video going over the Predator section at the old place, but that lights up and does all the same things that you actually saw at the end of Predator 1. Very cool piece. this is actually, so this is in a basement, and that was a window. So I built a pegboard and built it where there's lights inside of it, painted it kind of the same color as the wall. And then for you guys that aren't familiar, in the Aliens movie, that is what's known as the Ripley gun, as she combined the two guns together to go after the Queen Alien and the Sade Newt. So pretty cool. And then this is the Queen Studios Big Chap Alien. Another really cool piece. And of course this display is temporary. I actually had to put this on wheels and this on wheels because this fireplace, I ultimately want to finish the whole thing in stone. So I need to wheel those guys out of the way when it's time to work on that project. But speaking of this fireplace and the rest of the wall, I plan on that being all Lord of the Rings. And I've got the Queen Studios Balrog head. I think it's about 90% life-size. It's probably hard to tell on camera, but it is absolutely huge. And once this fireplace is finished in that stone, it's going to be hanging right up there. Here's the Infinity Studios. Actually, all three of these pieces, Infinity Studios. So the Witch King, got to do a little video editing and get a review video out on that. Sauron, absolutely huge piece, about 6 foot tall. And then the Ring Wraith. I actually, in the old place, didn't have a whole lot of room, so I have very few Lord of the Ring props. That's one line that there are a ton of props out there with the different swords and weapons that you can buy. United Cutlery made a ton of different things. Yeah, and even all the different staffs that are out there. And then we got this piece here, which is very, very good. I should have lit up the gauntlet. Forgot to turn that on. But probably hard to tell on the camera, but this piece, humongous. And ultimately, I've got this center island here, and he's kind of there temporarily. What I plan on building is taller shelves in the middle there, and then all these shelves that are currently here will go around the taller shelves, and they'll kind of have that step up effect, and I'll make it look pretty nice. But actually, Thanos here will be on the taller shelf behind Captain America and Iron Man, and again, it'll look a lot nicer too. But that's the end goal for the big Thanos there. And right now, this ultimately will be kind of a random one-off bust area. But right now I do have a lot of my Star Wars stuff. And I do have nice display stands that light up and all that for all these blasters and all these lightsabers. And these are very nice lightsabers. It's a shame I got them displayed this way. And I haven't had time really to install lighting in any of these shelves either. But ultimately, all those display stands, this area here will end up being my Star Wars section. I'll hang all those nice displays, and all the lightsabers and blasters can be put right there. But again, only so much time, and this new place. I've got lots of projects other than down here too going on, so I'll eventually get there. But I was able to consolidate all my Men in Black stuff. This is a very cool, maybe the coolest piece in my collection. I just love the idea that they came up with this prop. And for those who aren't familiar, that was made by a company called ECC, Elite Creature Collectibles. And then you've got the various weapons, Noisy Cricket, Neuralizer. And these are versions from different movies. One's from like the first movie, one's from the second movie. That's why I got multiple of them. Even the actual watch that they were wearing in the first movie. This is kind of my ode to RoboCop here. Very cool piece. I did do a video on this, I guess about a few months back when I got it. And pretty much all my pieces I put on turntables to make them easy to check out from all angles if you want to. I always thought this was a cool piece to kind of see the inner workings of a lightsaber. And I think it was one of the books back in the 70s that actually had this picture explaining what was in a lightsaber. And one of the members of Replica Prop Forum many years back made this. Pretty cool. And for those not familiar, Regal Robot made this Chewbacca bust. In my opinion, one of the probably the best bust I've seen out there made of Chewbacca. And temporarily, I've got the kind of the Christopher Nolan Batman stuff here. I do have Bale. Well, I thought he would have been here by now, but he is on the way. I hope someday they make a Bane too. But for now, I only have the Joker, Catwoman. Again, a few more kind of props from the movie. Lighting's way too bright right here, so in the correct lighting, this Joker piece is very, I mean, it looks pretty dang good now, but in the right lighting, it looks pretty amazing. Plus, I was a huge fan of this version of the Joker, Heath Ledger. I would say, in my book, it was my favorite Joker. Then I also kind of partial to Jack Nicholson too, but I do like Heath Ledger's. And yeah, let's just kind of go over quickly this section here. So this will ultimately be a Marvel, DC, and some of Lord of the Rings. So once I get the taller shelves in there, this is actually going to be 8 foot wide instead of 4 foot wide. And the front here will be all Marvel. And the side here will be all Marvel. Again, apologize for the lighting. Yeah, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Wolverine. I guess with the new movie, they've kind of brought into the universe now. And just a couple random helmets. Queen Studios Mark 7 down here. And then on this side, it's going to be my DC. So right now, I've got the Queen Studios Dark Side. Get it at an angle where the lighting's not so darn harsh. This is another really big piece. His head's actually bigger than Thanos's back there. And I've got the Queen Studios Wonder Woman. Very well done. And then I've got Batman down here. And ultimately, as mentioned, once I get the taller shelves in there, this will be 8 foot wide. On the top, I plan on sometime adding the Infinity Studios, Superman, and then bringing him up top, and then down low where there'll be about 8 foot of shelf space. Eventually, the '89 Batman series, they gotta eventually make some really good busts of those characters, and when they do, I do plan on adding it down there. Hulk will end up going on one of the higher shelves. He's one that at eye level looks good, but he was made to be looking down at you. Again, the lighting is very bad. Looks better in person, and it is actually real done. It's just designed that, you know, he should be about 8 foot high, looking down at you, 7, 8. So he'll be on a higher shelf and properly displayed once I get that built. We got Loki here. Another piece that's done really well. Yeah, and I do really love these two pieces. And then here is kind of my ode to Hellboy. So ECC, the same one that made that very cool Men in Black bust, also did this Hellboy bust. It's another one that I shot a review on. I just got to edit it to get it out there. But this version of Hellboy was my favorite. You got the big baby there. Tooth Fairy, which is really well done. So again, a lot of his props. And then here, I've got a bunch of my Back to the Future stuff. Now ultimately, I would love to get a Marty and Doc bust and put it on top with all the Back to the Future stuff. Big fan of Back to the Future. And I'll get some lighting where you can actually see this stuff better. But these are some really nice, very cool props. This actually interacts with this. It's got sound. Pretty awesome. Hopefully someday. Right now, Howard Synth is the only one I know that there's some good Marty and Doc busts. If I can ever get a hold of those two, would love to put them on there. And then this here is kind of my ode to Indiana Jones. So lots of different props. Real Robot, a little over a year ago or so, has started making props for Indiana Jones. So far I've got the whole line of those, but I also own a lot of great from RPF that I was mentioning before. And then this area here is kind of my one-offs of different replicas that I've got of various movies. We got Caesar up here. This was made by a company called Blue Box Hyper in Peru. They do excellent work. That's a dead-on Caesar. And of course I got Edward Scissorhands here. Would like to add a bust of them someday. And then yeah, like I said, just kind of one-offs of various movies. So Rocky, Top Gun. I like Jurassic Park, but I really don't have room to really go into that line. So this is my kind of ode to Jurassic Park here. My Goonies stuff, Twister, Shawshank Redemption, Sex Panther from Anchorman. 50% of the time, it works every time. Willy Wonka, Matrix Pills, Fight Club, Old Big Earn. Great movie if you guys have not seen Kingpin. At least it's right up my alley in comedy. I guess a little shop of horrors. Jumanji. I should have a nice Jumanji board. I waited many years for a maker and ultimately had to get my money back. He just was not making the product. And this section here, I did do a video before I moved all these mostly Transformers. I mean, this is Hulkbuster and War Tank here, but the rest are Transformers. These are all going to the office, but I gotta pretty much completely redo the office and make custom shelves. So temporarily I had to put it in this section. So it's like way overcrowded in here. So if you guys really want to check out more of this section, I did do a video before I moved all this stuff up here so you can see things better. But I'll quickly go through here. I decided this area here is my Ghostbusters wall. So I pretty much got proton packs from the first, second, Afterlife movie. And I've got a slime blower that we'll get to. You got the Terror Dogs here. I've got a ton of props. So, as you can tell, definitely a huge fan of Ghostbusters. And I apologize again. If you want to check out this section better, check out that video. It's kind of scrunched in here for now, unfortunately. And eventually, this stance and Bakeman, I want to turn into a full half torso bust with the backpack, the belt, all their gear. So it'll be pretty cool once I get that all set up, and it's going to be a while, but that's kind of the end goal. And then here is kind of the gun wall. Now I like to keep all my stuff with whatever the theme. So if I got a Terminator gun, it goes to the Terminator section, or you know, a Predator weapon goes to the Predator section. So this is kind of the one-offs that I really don't have a section for. And if you watched any of my videos in my old place, this was the chrome gun wall that you saw hanging. I ended up painting it the same color as the wall. It just kind of, I think, blends in better. I did get the lighting under the cells for my Harry Potter section. That's what goes under the gun wall. And then this entire section is my horror section. So this entire wall is dedicated to horror. That Same company that made Caesar, I'm getting a Pennywise. So I got the base, which was actually a statue made by Prime One. I'm selling the statue part, but keeping that part for the base. There's David from Lost Boys. Chucky. Scream. Kind of my ode to Dexter there. Blood slides. And actually those blood slides were made by the people that actually made them for season 5. So they're pretty screen accurate. Freddy was probably my favorite horror character. So this is that ECC company I mentioned before. They also made this Freddy, but I do got various gloves that you've seen throughout some of the other movies. The phone that you saw in the first movie. And of course, can't really have a horror section without Jason. Eventually, I want to make him also a half torso bust. I did buy a silicone hand and period accurate machete that was used in the movie. I mean, they used in the movie, this is not from the actual movie, but same type that they used. Again, I think Michael Myers is also on the Mount Rushmore of horror guys. Gotta have a Michael Myers there. And I kind of like, I mean, say what you will about the movies, Critters, I really do like these little guys. Made from ERP replicas. And then I also was a big fan of Gremlins. I wouldn't say I was a huge fan of the movies, but I really like the creatures that came from Gremlins. So yeah, that is it, guys. Thought I'd just give you an update of where I'm at right now in May of 2025. And thanks for watching. Hey guys, I appreciate you watching another video. I'm a huge fan of home theater and these movie replica props. I'm gonna put out a couple of videos each week in those areas. And if you're a huge fan like I am, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.